Hello and welcome back to another exciting adventure at Creature Features. It's been a while, hasn't it? So let's start off with something fun and easy, like a list. Yes, let's do a list of 2D animated animal movies that you should watch one day. Also because my channel kind of sort of says that I review animal movies too, and I've barely been doing that, so let's jump right in and get started.
And now, live via satellite, Animal Olympics.
A movie about animals that are, well, doing the Olympics. The movie paces itself like a TV broadcast hosted by a network station called Zoo, where they go around interviewing different characters and showing off many highlights of the competition. It was made in 1980, and after rewatching it recently, you can tell the movie really embraces its time period with its music videos and late 70s aesthetic. There's even a scene where some of the characters are just hanging out at a club, properly named Noah's Ark Disco, drinking and dancing to a groovy song. The entire movie has these random but fun music video moments sprinkled into it. Speaking of random though, let's talk about the animation itself. The movie doesn't stick to a single type of character design, which gives the movie this very rare style that I haven't seen done before or since in a full-length animated feature. Like sure, most animated movies may have a scene or two where the art style might change drastically, but then the movie usually goes back into its normal form. No, not in Animal Olympics. One moment you're watching the animation style of John Norton, who later went on to make movies like Goofy Movie, Emperor's New Groove, and Tarzan, just to name a few. A moment later you can be watching the art style of Brad Bird, who became the writer for The Simpsons, and directed movies such as Iron Giant and Ratatouille. Then, a moment after that, you could be watching the art style of Dan Haskett, a veteran character designer for many, many cartoons. Adult Todd from Fox and the Hound, and My Vernon Mink from Animaniacs, just to name a few characters he's done. And trust me, he's done a lot, I can't list them all. Oh, and let's not forget Roger Allers, the character designer for Lioness Kit, and is now well known for directing the 1994 animated smash hit The Lion King. That being said, if you're looking for a movie with an actual plot in it, this might not be the one for you. There's kinda sorta a plot, with a few reoccurring characters that sort of pop up again and again, but it's short-lived, and to be fair, I don't think the whole point of this movie was to have a plot anyway. This movie is more like an art piece. However, if you're looking for a movie that will not only throw you back into the super hip era of the 70s with its music, but will also show you the epic amount of work that these handful of upcoming talented animators have beautifully put into it, this animal movie will be for you.
There comes a time when you must choose about the path you're gonna take, and you must take it win or lose, and if you lose it's your mistake. There's only one direction, so when the race is won and there's nothing left to do, alone again. But where are you? Alone again, but where are you?
Flight of dragon, sail past reality, leave illusion behind.
This movie starts off in a world of medieval fantasy, where four wizard brothers discuss how to make science and magic more balanced. Because apparently, the fact that humans are embracing science and logic more is causing magic to slowly die.
Why did you summon us?
As you must have noticed, our magic powers have been growing dim.
I have so noticed.
It is because man is choosing logic over magic.
But why?
Because logic is so logical.
So the green wizard brother wants to make a hidden realm that humans cannot see, preserving themselves and all the fantasy and magic within it. James Earl Jones, aka Mufasa, aka the Red Wizard, laughs at him and pretty much calls him a big ol' biggity bitch, claiming that the correct way to handle the situation would be to use his dark magic and cause man to destroy themselves with their own science.
By summoning all the dark powers. I will infest the spirit of man so that he uses his science and logic to destroy himself. I'll teach him to fly like a fairy. And I'll give the ultimate answer to all his science can ask.
And of course, the other three brother wizards opposed to the idea of nuclear death. So then the green wizard decides to ask a glowing tree for help, and the tree tells him to go grab a former scientist and full-time nerd from the 20th century named Peter, who is of course busy playing a game of D&D with a pawn shop employee. This Peter fella happens to be super into dragons.
If this game sells,
You know something, Mr. Dickinson? Nothing personal, but you're a real dragon nut.
they fascinate me. Always have. I'm sure they really existed at one time. See, I'm trying to dope out how they breathed fire, how they flew, how they...
I take back the nut part. You're a dragon fanatic.
The green wizard kinda sorta kidnaps Peter and takes him back into the medieval time period, which Peter is more than willing to help when he realizes the wizard has a daughter who is also a princess. But Sly, you may be asking, where the heck are the dragons at?
Don't even get me started. I'm still waiting for the darn dragons to show up and kick everyone's butts.
Yeah, I know, just bear with me. The red wizard catches wind of his brother's plan and sends his evil dragon Briog to kill Peter. Peter, trying to get his game on with the princess, gets caught blocked by Briog as the dragon swipes him from behind, grabs his limpless body, flies him high into the sky, and drops Peter to his death. No, but seriously, Peter the human is actually gone now. The green wizard and his pet dragon, Gorbash, both try to save Peter as he's falling from the sky. Just as Gorbash catches Peter, the green wizard uses his teleporting spell, accidentally hitting both of them at the same time. Peter disappears and Gorbash now appears to be unconscious. Luckily enough, the dragon manages to land in the lake, breaking his fall. In the next scene, we see the crew anxiously waiting for Gorbash to wake up, while trying to figure out where the heck Peter might have teleported to. And then this happens.
Open your eyes, boy. It's me, lad, your uncle. Don't you recognize me?
Uncle? What?
What is it, child?
He is Sir Peter.
Well, of course I'm Peter.
By the beards of antiquity, I went and merged them. Peter and Gorbash are one. Peter is in Gorbash.
So yeah, Peter is now a dragon. The rest of the movie is mostly about him learning how to be a real dragon, as their quest to stop the villain finally begins. This movie was made by the same studio that made other fantastic 80s fantasy animations, such as The Last Unicorn and The Wind in the Willows. This studio is known as Arachin Bass Production, and to be honest, I love all three of these movies by this studio. They have a very, very distinctive art style, top-tier voice acting, and the music will get stuck in your head. So go on and give them a watch one day. Oh, by the way, if you think you haven't actually seen a Arachin Bass film before, you probably have, especially if you celebrate the holidays by letting those claymation cartoons run in the background. You know the ones. The ones they play every single year with those super catchy songs that stick Christmas propaganda inside of your head. Would be ashamed if I played a clip of one of those just to get it stuck in your head for the rest of the day, if not the rest of the month. But I wouldn't torture you guys nor myself like that. So let's just move on to the next.
He's Mr. White Christmas, he's Mr. Snow, he's Mr. Icicle, he's Mr. Tenderloin.
Friends call me Snow Miser. Whatever I touch turns to snow in my clutch.
He's too much.
Damn it. I remember first seeing this movie when I was a kid, sometime back in the 90s. It was either on HBO or Showtime or Cinemax. I can't really remember. Heck, I couldn't even remember the name of the movie. The only thing I did remember was watching it as a kid and being completely mesmerized by the fluid and slick animation. Just a few years ago, I finally found the movie called Adventures of Mowgli. This was at least what the English dubbed Americanized version was called. After rewatching this dub recently, I'm just gonna have to say, just avoid it and watch the original. The English dub sounds like 4Kids trash, watch the original. No, but seriously, it's pretty hard to listen to. Especially when half the time the voice actors are talking over the wrong characters.
Thieves. Ha! Thieves. I know the law as well as anyone.
Keep him? Of course we'll keep him.
Or when the voice actors don't seem to have enough lines in their dialogue to match the characters' lip syncing. So they do that weird thing where they kind of just start making weird mumbly grunt sounds just to fill in the rest of the scene.
Now it's time to go out and track the porcupine.
The music and instrumentals were also removed or replaced with pure, stinky, uninspired cheese.
What can a man cub do when he wants to run with the pack? Hunt like a wolf, sniff like a wolf, and follow every track.
But at the end of the day, I'm kinda glad this version was made, since it probably introduced a lot of people from the USA, including myself, to an awesome animated version of The Jungle Book. That being said, the original Russian version is still probably one of my most favorite versions of The Jungle Book adapted into a full-length animated movie. This version seems very faithful to Kipling's novel. Not so much in its plot, but in the way it presents itself. It feels like I'm watching art and not some movie that was made just to keep children distracted at the movie theaters. By no means is this the adult version of The Jungle Book. It's definitely a cartoon that was made safe enough for both young and old to enjoy. It just touches on subject matters like survival, war, and death without comping out, in fear of being too dark. With that in mind, the movie is an unrated film from the USSR, so make your own judgment call based on that. The animation never gets bloody or gory, but it does have a few violent moments in it. On the subject of animation, I don't even really know how to describe the animation in this movie. I especially love the way they animated Bagheera. Every scene she's in is just so mesmerizing. The entire movie has this hypnotizing art style that really helps slowly move the story along. If you're looking for a nice, slow-paced version of The Jungle Book that you can just sit back and enjoy for its artistic and loyal approach to animating the novel, check out Adventures of Mowgli. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Quick honorable mention to all the awesome 2D animated animal movies that were made by Disney and Don Bluth. I love their animations, but you guys probably already know that Lion King by Disney and All Dogs Go to Heaven by Don Bluth are fantastic 2D animal movies without having to hear me ramble on about them, so yeah. I wanted to talk about movies that you may have not heard of before. I also skipped a ton of animated movies that are more angsty and on the adult side of the spectrum. They will be added to their own list in the future. So what's your favorite 2D animated animal movie and why? Please tell me in the comment section below. I would love to read what you guys have to say. And with that, I will see you guys in the next exciting adventure of Creature Features. Love ya.
I've always run away from things that tie me down. My life I love, but love's not for me.